I'm Dr. Don Miller, and I'm a clinical psychologist. And just a little bit of history. I had my first internship position when I was at UCLA for a couple years in their graduate program. I rotated through 4 different Veterans Administrative hospitals in the LA area. This was in 1958. In 1960, I transferred to the University of Utah. And in 1966, I received my PhD. And so now I'm going to try to help you with insomnia. And hopefully this will help you get the necessary sleep you need. But first, let's start off. Find a comfortable position. Move around until you are settled and relaxed. Now I'd like you to pick out a spot on the wall or wherever your gaze happens to fall. Focus your eyes on that spot without letting your gaze wander. You will notice that this is an abnormal way of seeing or looking, because ordinarily we see by leaps and darts. But when we're asked to focus our eyes on a spot without letting our gaze wander, our eyes tend to tire very easily. You may already be aware of the fact that the muscles of your eyes are beginning to tire, and that your eyes tend to go out of focus. Perhaps you'll even notice that your vision becomes a little misty. Your eyes may burn a little bit, but I want you to keep your eyes focused on that same spot. And you will notice that this will become increasingly more difficult for you to do. Now let your eyes close. Let the muscles of your eyes relax. Let them relax to the point where they simply won't work. When you are sure that the muscles of your eyes simply won't work at all, test them. But don't test them to see if they will work, because we know you can open your eyes anytime you want. Test to make sure the muscles are so relaxed that your eyes just don't work. So when you're sure those muscles don't work at all, let the pleasant feeling of deep relaxation travel all the way down to the tips of your toes and relax. Each time you take a breath and let the air out, feel yourself relaxing deeper and deeper, feeling comfortably tired as you drift down deeper and deeper, relaxed. Now we're going to deepen that state of pleasant relaxation even further. I would like you to imagine that you're on an escalator going down. You just stepped on the escalator. And as the escalator moves down, you feel this almost pleasant sensation of dropping, but dropping very slowly, coasting down. And as you tune into that sensation in your body, you find yourself drifting down deeper and deeper, relaxed. So about a third of the way down the escalator now, it is still going deeper and deeper, way down deeper still. 2/3 of the way down. And you find yourself with your breathing that is probably slowed down, relaxing more and more. Deeper down, and finally you're at the bottom of the escalator. You step off, and it turns out that you are in the hallway of a school building, but it must be after hours or on the weekend because it appears empty. There are doors leading off the hallway, and you take one of the doors. You have entered the back door of a classroom. You walk over toward the middle row of seats and walk up between the seats, heading toward the blackboard. On the blackboard, just below the blackboard, there's a little shelf with chalk and an eraser. When you reach the blackboard, pick the chalk up in one hand and the eraser in the other hand. Reach up and draw a large circle about 14 inches across. Inside that circle, you draw a capital letter A. Now you reach up with the other hand with the eraser and erase the capital A. Now you reach up and draw a capital letter B. Then you reach up and erase the capital letter B. In just a moment, I'm going to have you draw in maybe more, or maybe even all of the letters of the alphabet, one by one, and erase them one by one. Each letter you draw and erase, you're going to find yourself going down even deeper into a pleasant, relaxed state. So now go ahead and do the letter C. Draw it and then erase. Then D, and so forth. But you can take your time or go as fast as you want. You may notice that this is a dull and boring task. One of the things about dull and boring tasks, it keeps our mind busy, just busy enough so we don't think about other things. By keeping the mind busy, we can go deeper and deeper into a relaxed state. If we are already tired, or whether we are tired or not, we can go into a relaxed state. If we are tired and go into a relaxed state, we will probably fall asleep. If we are not tired and go into a relaxed state, we can still enjoy that state of pleasant relaxation. States that people in the East and the yogis have talked about for many centuries. So letting yourself go down deeper as you draw and erase the letters, as you draw and erase the letters of the alphabet. And I said the awakening or the arousing thoughts are not blocked out or repressed. It's that we have taken the mind elsewhere, taken the mind to another place. It turns out that this is basically the key to unlocking insomnia. It's taking the mind to another place. If you haven't finished with the letters of the alphabet, you've probably done enough. You can put the chalk down, put the eraser down. When you turn around, you notice something that must have been there before as you went past on the way to the blackboard, which is the teacher's desk. And this is not like any ordinary teacher's desk and chair. This chair looks very plush, very relaxing. So you let yourself sink into that teacher's chair. And now, while in this deeply relaxed state, you will learn about tension and arousal. How to decide what arousal level you're going to choose. In the teacher's chair, you find yourself still sinking down, more and more relaxed, deeper and deeper. Following an understanding of the messages here. Now, on arousal, many people have seen the examples in the physiology textbooks of fight or flight, showing a guy all tensed up, ready to either run or fight. The description says that the adrenal glands are pumping and many other things are going on. We will call the highest level of arousal a 10, meaning adrenaline, cortisol, and several other hormones are pumping at the top level. Where you are right now might be a 1 or a 2. If you imagine one of those yogis sitting cross-legged, murmuring a sound as he breathes in slow, in and out. Or you might be a 1 or 2, or you might be a higher level. For you to learn and drop arousal levels when you feel like it, when you need to, or you want to. That is going to be the key. If we are at a 1 or 2 level on the tension scale, and when we're tired, we're very likely to fall asleep. If we are very, very tired and we have thoughts going through our head, then those thoughts have tension or arousal capability, because thoughts do have arousal or tension causing capability. Just like drawing and erasing the letters of the alphabet is an activity that has little or no arousal capability, but the thought, will that check bounce, or if anything like that has ever happened to you, or will that payment get there on time for you, will I be able to sleep? These thoughts all have that tension and arousal value. As soon as you think any of those thoughts, as soon as you look at the clock and say, oh, another half hour has gone by and I haven't slept yet, then that's when you start pumping adrenaline and cortisol. The tension arousal level goes up. So even the thought that I haven't slept causes arousal and tension. The higher level of tension and arousal, the higher level of adrenaline, cortisol, and other stimulant hormones, then the less likely you are to sleep. Why? Because the stimulant hormones are designed to wake us up and keep us awake. How can you control tension or arousal level? A lot of people learn to diaphragm breathing, meaning that if you put your right hand on your stomach and the stomach rises and falls with a slow breath, with the stomach rising and falling, the hand rising and falling. Once you learn that, you don't have to have your hand on your stomach, tuning into the breath. See if you can try that now. See if you can take deep, slow breaths without the chest going up and down very much, but the stomach hand rising slowly and falling. So you put your left hand up on your chest, the right hand lower on the stomach. Like I said, the chest hand, you hope to teach yourself to not let that hand move, but it's your stomach hand that will rise and fall with your breath. You're putting your mind and all the tension on the breathing. It might seem like that's not very much going on. Your mind wants to be busy. Your mind wants to be busier than that. So a thought might come. Oh, I have a report to give tomorrow. Or I have to get ready to the party. But you tell yourself you work on it tomorrow. Right now, back to the stomach, back to the breathing, back to the slow breathing, and how it can occupy your whole attention. Then when you know the breathing is slow, you relax. You begin to check other systems. What about your jaw? Is that relaxed? You can tune back and forth between other parts of your body. Tune your mind back to your breathing, taking the breath, letting the air out slow to make sure you're still using your breathing as a way of focusing your thoughts. And it's a little break between checking out the body. Now you can check out your shoulders. Are they limp and relaxed? Now with your breathing still slow and deep, your stomach rising and falling. That's what you call diaphragm breathing. Then you let your chest and arms become limp and relaxed. Then back to your breath, slow and deep. Letting your legs relax all the way down to your toes. Relaxing your calves. Relaxing your thighs. Checking to make sure that everything is limp and relaxed. Also tuning into your body, your tension level. You're thinking, am I at a 3 or a 4? Or maybe a 6 or a 7 on the 10 scale. Remember, 10 is that fight or flight. That's that panic state. So let's imagine that you're at a 2. That's probably low enough for low arousal attention scale that if you lay there for a while, you're going to be tired and sleepy, and you'll fall asleep. Now let's imagine that you look over at the clock and the old fear starts to come. Oh, time is passing. I'm not going to get enough sleep. But as soon as you look at the clock, and as soon as you think that thought, that you might not be able to get enough sleep, you notice your tension and arousal level going up to maybe a 6, 7, or 8. Probably not up to the 10. That's the fight or flight level. But probably jump from a 2 or a 3 to maybe a 4. Or maybe you've jumped to 6 or 7, just worried about, are you sleeping or not? You can feel your heart speeding up. You can feel that thought that I'm going to be short of sleep. And one of the biggest reasons for not sleeping is the fear of not sleeping. That fear tightens up your whole body, and of course it makes you jump to a wide awake state. But now you're not going to say that you're worried about not getting enough sleep. So here's the trick. When you look at the clock, or when you think of the thought, I'm not getting enough sleep, the next thought is, oh, it's all right if I don't sleep. Because if I rest, I can still calm myself down to a 1 or 2 or maybe a 3 on the tension or arousal scale, and stay there and not force it down by just doing these things like breathing and checking tension in my body, maybe even squeezing my neck sometimes, tightening up and letting go, tightening the legs up and letting go. There might be something that you can throw in the mix. This is absolutely true if somebody is at a 6 or 7 all night arousal and they're not sleeping. They're going to be very, very tired the next day. The brain isn't going to be working well. But if they're at a 3 or 4, which might not be quite enough to drill enough, not low enough to drift off into sleep, or even if they could even go down to a 2 where everything is limp and relaxed. The heart is slow and steady. The heartbeats are slow and steady. In that state of deep relaxation, you will be resting. In that state of deep relaxation, will not be sleep. And it probably isn't sleep yet. The body can still do a lot of refurbishing, a lot of cleaning up. Sleep is like a restoration, a restorative system that goes on during the night, and it restores and rebuilds and gets us ready for the next day and gives us that time out. Now, in my book, the last self-help book that you will ever need, there's many other additional descriptions of the restoration process and the terrible damage inflicted by insomnia, including a higher level or higher probability of dementia. If we are in a state of deep rest, that restoration process can still go on, maybe not quite as efficiently as in deep sleep, but it still can go on. So your goal will be to find a state of rest, as deep a relaxed state as possible, with the idea that if I sleep or not sleep, it won't matter. If I sleep, it will be slightly better. But as long as I rest, that will be sufficient. Here is the trick your mind will want to play on you. It will say, oh, I've been resting. I'm in a state of deep rest. And then you might just fall asleep. Because a lot of times, if you're in that state of deep rest, you will drift off to sleep. But say the next night you start counting on falling asleep because you find yourself saying, well, I'm in a state of deep rest. And last night, when I got into a state of deep rest, I fell asleep fast. So how come I'm not asleep now? As soon as you ask that question, the arousal kicks in. And you go back up to a 6 or 7. So in other words, the old, how come I'm not sleeping, will kick in again and create tension. So every night you have to say, it doesn't matter if I sleep or not. and you have to really believe that. That as long as you rest, you can do a lot of rebuilding and recovery during the night of deep rest. You ask yourself, where am I now on the tension level? Am I at a 2, a 3, 5, or 6? And I can take that tension level down to a 2 or 3 over time. With practice, you'll find out what a 2 is, and what a 3 is, what a 1 and what a 5 are. You already know what an 8 or 9 is, because often at night you would be lying there in the middle of the night, tossing and turning, your heart beating fast. That would be when you are worried, upset. Can we control our own heart rate? Yes. Can we control our own muscle tension? Yes. Can we control how much adrenaline and cortisol our body produces? Yes. And in the last self-help book, there are multiple other strategies for dropping tension. And other of my YouTube videos also are multiple ways of dropping tension. So, even now, we're working on finding different ways of dropping the tension, the adrenaline and cortisol levels, going into the relaxed state. There might still be a little bit of anxiety and tension floating around. So it may not be instantaneous that we drop down to a state where you can rest and then sleep. Or maybe not, but if you rest, that will be sufficient. As soon as you start thinking, I'm resting, how come I'm not asleep? You jump back to that 5 or 6 tension level, and you jerk yourself back away. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the insomnia video, and now you can let yourself go deep into a relaxing state, or lie there longer while you enjoy the relaxed state. You make a decision where you want to be on the tension scale in the next few minutes or hours.